Hello and welcome to Scottish Car Enthusiasts and Trains TV, and it's part 3 of our Bring Back Max Power series, where we're continuing to look at the August 2002 edition of Revs Magazine. So why not grab a brew and we'll continue where we've left off. So we left off at staff cars, or as Revs call it, Boys R Us. And we have a look at Neil Hunt's Peugeot 205 GTI, which is just about to go in for some bodywork and paint at Dawson's. Before moving down to Matty Graham's Peugeot 106 XS. Now I just found out a really interesting fact about Matty Graham just recently, is that he's involved in the Late Break show with Johnny Smith. Which is probably no surprise because Johnny Smith was also on the team here at Revs. So we've got an advert for Revolution Performance Motorsport, dealing in alloy wheels from TSW to Speedline, Fox, Oz Racing, for example. Then we have a double page spread for Burton Power. So if you're looking for cranks and rods, piston sets, Weber carbs, heavy duty clutches, then Burton is the place to go. Also specialising in gear knobs and levers, Scorpion exhaust systems, bucket seats, oil, and Powerflex, and also a wide range of books. There's one for a Ford, just down there. And talking of Fords, here is a Mark IV Ford Escort. So why don't we have a look at the tech spec on this? And before we do, here's an advert for Wolf Race Wheels. A soundtrack starring a whistling turbo and pishing dump valve. Right, let's have a look at the tech spec on this. So it's a 1600cc Piper Cam T3 hybrid turbo, K&N air filter, alloy header tank, chrome rocker cover, chrome wiper and fuse box cover, brake reservoir, heat shields, crossover pipe, inlet manifold and dump valve. And transmission is factory gearbox with an LUC clutch. Suspension wise, it's lowered 30mm, all round on Coney springs and adjustable dampers. Brakes, Cosworth 4-pot calipers and discs, painted calipers and drums at the rear. Wheels and tyres are 8x18 inch can RSS rims with 215/35/18 Falcon tyres. Bodywork is Escort Cosworth front and rear bumpers, Series 1 RS Turbo body kit skirts, Illusion spoiler, Mondeo roof spoiler, Moretto twin headlight conversion, smoked rear lights, clear side repeaters, debadged bonnet, Cosworth bonnet vents, de-locked tinted windows, Escort Mark IV mirrors, full respray in Indiana Polaz green. Try to get rid of this light here. It's a wee bit better. Interior wise, it's got interior from a Sapphire RS Cosworth, 4-spoke RS steering wheel, pull ball gear lever and white dials. Ice wise, Pioneer CD tuner, PR 300 watt, Kenwood amps, 600 watt Kenwood amp, Alpine 12 inch sub, Sony 6x9s Alpine tweeters, caliber 4-inch mids. Now this Escort RS Turbo produces about 200 brake horsepower and an estimated top speed of 140 mph. Quickly moving on to an advert for G-Max springs. Remember when four wheels was fun? And they guarantee fun for 3 years. And is there a specialist in Scotland? Let's find out. There is actually a few specialists who stock G-Max springs in Scotland back in 2002. First of all, we have XS Motorsport in Hamilton. We also have S Sport in Dunfermline. If anybody knows where S Sport is or was, why not add it into the comments box below. We also have Checkpoint in Aberdeen, Motorsport Access in Ayr, and Falkland Performance Centre in Glenrothes. Moving on, we have a double-page advert for Larkspeed Performance, or larkspeed.com. So if you were looking for a max power manual on your Saxo, you could get it here. Power boost valves, Kent cams, green cotton air filters down here, brakes, clutches, OMP strut braces, split fire, Momo steering wheels, Sparco, Richbrook, Cobra seats, harness pads, and again obligatory alloy wheels from TSW, the Max Power alloy wheels, Oz Racing, and Fox Racing alloys. Our next feature car in this edition of Revs is a Mitsubishi FTO GPX MyVec. So why don't we have a look at the tech spec on this Mitsubishi? A junkie on netto bag full of free heroin. Let's have a look at the tech spec of this car. See if I can try and get this into the light a bit better. Try that. So let's have a look at the tech spec on this. So it is a 1997cc 24 valve fuel injected V6. Forgot they were V6s. Blitzcone filter with ARC aluminium intake box. Jasma stainless steel exhaust. Transmission is a semi-automatic gearbox with Tiptronic style change front wheel drive. Suspension. AB adjustable shocks all round, front and rear anti-roll bars, Cusco aluminium front and rear strut braces, front camber adjusters. Braking system, totally standard. Wheels and tyres are 7 by 17 inch Marriott 5-spoke split rim style alloys with Pirelli P700 215 x 40/17 inch tyres. The body kit you're looking at is a Veilside Combat front bumper and side skirts and Veilside rear spoiler. Interior wise, it's got a single bride racing seat, Veilside steering wheel, odometer, monster tackle with shift light, R-Spec MyVec controller, Tomy A/F mix controller, Pexi lap timer and RPM logger, and trussed harnesses. Ice wise, it's got a Kenwood DXP 90 double din CD and tape head unit. Performance wise is 210 brake horsepower estimated. And we move on to our next page, which is Road Angel. Wouldn't it be good to know what lies ahead? So this is basically guarding your life and your license. Moving over onto this page, we've got the Renault Turbo Owners Club. So if you have like a Renault 5 or any turbocharged Renault, then this is the club for you. And they had their National Day on the 22nd of September 2002. Moving over, we've got Pugfest 2002 at the world-renowned Prescott Hill Climb on the 28th of July 2002. Moving down, a wee advert for Is Your Dream Job to Work for this magazine? So if you were looking for a job in car magazines with Revs or Max Power, for example, you could have a look at EMAP. And before moving on to Take It to the Max, Max Power Definitive Guides to Modifying. So you've got your Golf, you've got your Saxo, you've got your 306, you've got your Corsa, and you've got your ICE manual. And why not have a look at this one? I have the Max Power Modifying Manual. Maybe we'll consider having a look at this in a future episode. But I'll be using this shortly to carry out a modification on the Cactus. Next up we have an advert for Evo Performance and Styling, based in the northeast of England. Peterlee actually. So they've got advert, again, the obligatory alloy wheels. So you've got your TSW, you've got your... So yes, we've got alloy wheels from TSW. So yes, we've got wheels from TSW, and moving down you've got your usual suspension, Piper, Sportex exhausts, Kone, Evo R-type springs. So let's continue. And we're going to finish up on part 3 here with more power in an hour. So how to give your XR2 some awesome power gains and a top sound, what better way than a full exhaust system for as little as £140. So let's stick your standard exhaust in the bin and see about fitting a new exhaust. So let's go for it. So the standard system on a Fiesta XR2 is quite frankly a joke. It strangles the power of an otherwise decent engine and sounds like an asthmatic granny farting through a hose. So their Mint XR2i produced 88 brake horsepower at peak and 98.9 pounds-feet of torque. So let's start off with the Piper at £259.65. So this gave the Fiesta, which was standard 88 brake horsepower, this gave it 93 brake horsepower at a nearly 6 pounds-feet of extra, 6 pounds-feet of torque extra. So let's move down to the Sportex. Let's have a look. The Sportex gave the Fiesta XR2 an extra 4 brake horsepower, taking up to 92 brake horsepower. So that was probably a disappointment, but for £137.87, you can't complain. So next up we have the Magnex, which gave the Fiesta an extra 3 horsepower, taking up to 91 brake horsepower, and a further 3 pounds of torque. That was £264.99. Perhaps you fancy having a Jan speed on your Fiesta XR2. This gave an extra 6 brake horsepower, so taking that from 88 brake horsepower up to 92 brake horsepower. You can see I'm getting old because I'm getting so slow trying to figure out what the maths is here. And it also gave it an extra 6 pounds and feet of torque. Moving over to the Scorpion exhaust system at £275.50. It was the biggest shock as the Scorpion seemed to release the might of the 1600cc engine and had a deep burble roar to match, with an extra 2.5 horses, which takes it from 88 to, we're going to say 90.5 brake horsepower and nearly 10 pounds and feet of torque. So, what did Revs think of the exhaust? What did they think was the best exhaust? Well, Revs recommend the Piper exhaust system for the Fiesta XR2i. Closely followed, I would say, by the Scorpion. So there we go. That is part 3 of our look at the August 2002 edition of Revs Magazine. We'll be back in part 4 in the new year in our Bring Back Max Power series. So for the moment in this series, I'd just like to thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe at Scottish Car Enthusiasts and Trains TV, and we'll catch up with you again in the new year. And I wish you a happy new year and all the best for 2023. Farewell.